A group of over 100 migrants attempted to enter the United States illegally by rushing a border wall, breaking through razor wire, and knocking over guards in the process. Now, apparently, around 600 migrants massed at the international border as a part of a spring surge of migrants hoping to gain access to the U.S. Their dashboard's been showing between 2,000 and 2,500 people held in Border Patrol custody nightly. A spokesperson with Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that the surge in El Paso is the direct result of the unsustainable chaos President Joe Biden has unleashed on the border. Now, my question is the average American getting left behind in Biden America? Because people are definitely wondering if these illegal migrants or immigrants are getting prioritized over the American people. For instance, immigrants coming to New York City are being given prepaid debit cards that in certain cases like food assistance, they dwarf the amount provided to families of legal status. For example, the average family of four's monthly SNAP payment is $713, but migrant families of four receive $1,400 a month to use at bodegas, grocery stores, supermarkets, and convenience stores. In California, they just became the first state to offer free health care to all qualifying individuals, regardless of immigration status or age. This while the state is facing a $68 billion deficit in the next fiscal year. Regardless, Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has been steadily expanding access to their Medi-Cal health insurance program for low-income residents, allowing undocumented children to qualify for the taxpayer-funded program in 2015, then expanding it to cover undocumented adults between the ages of 19 to 25 and those who are over the age of 50. Sally Pipes, a healthcare policy expert and the president and CEO of the Pacific Research Institute, a California-based think tank, comments how many on Medi-Cal are already having a hard time finding doctors to treat them because of the low reimbursement rates that these doctors receive from the government. Then, of course, you have news like this. Migrant influencer Leonel Moreno encouraging others to invade the United States and squat at the homes of citizens. The latest news about the Venezuelan national, he skipped out on authorities shortly after arriving in the country and is on the run from immigration officials. Moreno, who claims in his videos that he, his wife, and daughter receive $350 a week from the federal government, appears to be hiding in plain sight, even posting a video in front of a police car from Gahanna, a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. I mean, this is just insane, guys. When I read news like this, it just kind of feels like I don't even recognize this country anymore. You know what I mean? It's time we get to the bottom of this. The truth about this border invasion and how immigrants seem to just be getting priority over regular, not to mention legitimate American citizens. All right, so first, you got to see this. Illegal migrants literally breaking through the barrier in El Paso, Texas. Check this out. I mean, one way or another, guys, the administration needs to be held accountable for this border crisis. They're putting all Americans at risk, you know what I mean? And as you guys saw, over 100 migrants made a bold attempt to cross into the United States, charging a border wall and breaking through the razor wire, even managing to push past some guards. Now, this dramatic incident was just part of a larger scene where about 600 migrants massed at the international border, driven by what they call the spring surge of migrants hoping to gain access to the U.S. The Texas National Guard was on site trying to manage the situation by organizing the migrants into smaller groups, but tensions flared after some women and children were separated from the adult males by the guardsmen. This separation triggered a rush by mostly single men at the guards who tore down parts of the fencing to get through. A group of men with hoodies, gloves, and winter jackets could then be seen pulling fencing away and then dashing through the concertina wire as a group of 5 guards stood in defense formation to fill the gap. Amid the chaos, you could hear desperate voices from the crowd pleading for help, pointing out that there were hungry women and children among them. Though these families were mostly being processed in a separate group, a few put their hands directly on the migrants to keep them back in response to being pushed. As the scene became louder and more chaotic. In the video, some figures raised their hands in surrender, but seconds later, others scrambled through, with some coming through the guards' legs and knocking them out of the way. Eventually, the group reached a border gate, shouting for help to the guards on the other side. side. More Texas National Guard troops quickly stepped in to control the scene, with some pushing the crowd back to Mexico and detaining others to allow them into the U.S. for processing. There had been one arrest for assaulting a soldier, and more charges related to destruction of property and assault were likely, according to a Border Patrol service. In recent days, thousands of migrants have once again descended on the city, with the dashboard showing between 2,000 and 2,500 people held in the Border Patrol custody nightly. Even with all of this turmoil at the border, reports indicated that hundreds were being released from custody in El Paso under the current asylum policies. The city of El Paso's migrant dashboard showed 743 people had been released from custody into the United States. They were either released on parole or to pursue asylum claims in accordance with President Biden's current policies. With thousands arriving in recent days, this surge at the border has reignited intense debates on immigration policy, pushing Texas officials to call for tighter controls to handle what they describe as a challenging situation. A spokesperson from Texas, Governor Greg Abbott's office, said that the surge in El Paso is the direct result of the unsustainable chaos President Biden has unleashed on the border. Now, if you guys are just as shocked and appalled by what's going on as I am, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates or deep dives into the policies and topics like this. I mean, we're all about getting to the truth here, and your support means that we can keep bringing you the hard-hitting facts and insights that really matter to you. And hey, if you've got thoughts or experiences related to this, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this, but let's get back to it. It's not just me, right? I mean, it is concerning how a family of 4 migrants in New York City receives more monthly funding than a family of 4 that includes a military veteran who receives disability compensation. Some may even say that this is downright insulting to our country and every single person receiving SSI, SSDI, disability, etc. New York City has become a new home for over 175,000 migrants, racking up a bill of more than $1.4 billion in 2023 to provide them with shelter, food, and other services. There's no sign of this slowing down either, and the city's budget forecast suggests that the cost might hit around $12 billion by 2025 if things keep going at this rate. Like I mentioned earlier, migrants in New York City are receiving a prepaid debit card, and the amounts that they're getting can be quite a bit more than what local families receive. For example, while a regular family of 4 might get $713 a month from SNAP, a migrant family of the same size gets $1,400 to spend in local stores. What's more is that this amount is even higher than what a military veteran with a 50% disability and a family gets, which is around $1,255 every 4 weeks. Adding another child under 18 bumps it up slightly to $1,306, but that's still nearly $100 less than what a migrant family receives. Now, switching over to California, the state kicked off the new year by offering free healthcare to all undocumented immigrants who qualify, making it the first state to do this. The latest expansion will include about 700,000 undocumented folks between 26 and 49 years old. But not everybody is on board with this expansion, especially with California facing a $68 billion deficit budget. Health policy expert Sally Pipes pointed out that the expansion was a bad idea when the state's coffers were flush. Now that California is struggling to make ends meet, using taxpayer money to cover non-citizens is just simply irresponsible. She said many Medi-Cal recipients are already struggling to find doctors who accept the low government payments, and those who can find one are facing very long waits for care. Simon Hankinson, an expert in border security and immigration, weighed in too. He expects the federal government will eventually have to bail out California's program. He said, no surprise, California, despite budget deficit, will give illegal immigrants subsidized health care. The question is, how and when will they get the federal taxpayer to bail them out? New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts may know. Yet, other states like New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts are probably keen to see how California handles this challenge. This while you hear news like Leonel Moreno, migrant influencer encouraging others to invade U.S. and squat at homes, is now on the run from authorities. Now, apparently, this guy's Venezuelan national Leonel Moreno crossed the southern border illegally in April 2022 at Eagle Pass, Texas, and was enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program, which allows federal authorities to track migrants using ankle monitors or other technology. However, Moreno didn't follow the rules and is now listed as an absconder from the program. But he sure doesn't seem like it. I mean, he's even posting a video from in front of a police car from Ghana, a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. And this is why John Fabricator, a former ICE field office director for the agency in Denver, said that the Biden administration's reliance on alternatives to detention, which currently includes over 1 million people, is nothing short of a complete failure. Fabricator says, how many thousands more are out there unaccounted for fleeing the program. Moreno is even a TikTok influencer, encouraging fellow Venezuelans to squat in the homes of U.S. citizens and calling President Biden mi papa. On social media, he frequently boasts of his earnings from begging for cash, claiming that he makes roughly $1,000 a day. Basically, his whole thing is outlining how to live effectively for free in a new country. Now, this is disturbing. If today's discussion struck a chord with you guys, or if you have a different view or experiences, I want to hear about it. Your input is crucial as we navigate these conversations together. So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, let's keep the discussion going respectively and constructively. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.